be able to see it.
Fantastic. Okay, so most of you I know attended our training on the navigation of the website. Some of you didn't. If you didn't, as we talked about a few minutes ago, that recording is available out there on the SIPS Plus webpage. I am currently on the homepage of the SIPS Plus product registration system. All products are registered from the license object that we have up here. If you go ahead and select register spirit products from the dropdown, it is going to give you the list of licenses that you are linked to, that you are either a primary user or a sub user on. For the sake of our testing today, this user only has one license attached. For our vendor of reps that are linked to more than one vendor of spirit account, you will see multiple licenses here. So you are just going to want to go ahead and select the license that you are going to want to register a product for. When you select the license, it is going to, pop up, which licensee it is, the number, and just some basic information regarding that license. So you can just kind of do like a double check and make sure it's the right licensee. You're going to navigate to the upper right-hand corner, and you're just going to go ahead and select register product. There is a link here, if you're feeling kind of lost the first few times, that will take you back to a manual knowledge article out there, if you will, that just assists with some of the registration information. When I use the product category dropdown, what you're going to see here is that I have got 4 different options as far as what type of spirit product I want to register. I can register a regular spirit product. I can register a value added product, a VAP, a multi-pack, or a variety case. In today's training, we are actually going to go through each one of these items. So I am going to start with just a regular spirit product, and I'm going to go ahead and click next. This is going to pop up our new product registration window. This is where you are going to be entering the information for your product. So I'm going to go through this page. If you have any questions, go ahead, raise your hand, and we'll get all of those questions answered for you guys. It's always going to let you know what license number and vendor account is associated. For our licensees who are linked to more than one ADA that they can do business with, the ADA is available in a dropdown. So you would just click the dropdown and select whatever ADA is appropriate for you. It's going to ask you if you want to register a non-standard case size. If you do, it is going to become required that you select the reason why you are doing so. We do have our specific retailer label. This is a yes or no. It does default to no. So for our folks that are registering specific retailer labels, you're going to want to go ahead and update that field. Bottle size is pretty self-explanatory. You're just going to go ahead and select whatever bottle size you're registering. If you have not selected the non-standard case size, it is going to default you to the standard case size that we have for each one of those bottle sizes. So for the 50 ml, it is 120, and that is just going to pre-fill out there for you. We do have a couple options out here for our MDARD qualified folks. If you want to use, the pricing for MDARD, you can select that if you are able to do so. If you have an old COLA number, we do have you select the box for the old COLA. That is just because we do have an integration now directly to the TTB. And the TTB returns some of that information to us. So those older COLA numbers, we may require, that you drop in, like an additional COLA form or something like that. Not always, but there could be a possibility that we need a little bit more from you guys. So in the COLA, you're going to go ahead and enter a COLA information. There is nothing that has changed, as far as, requirements for the COLA status and what it should be through the TTB or any other product registration statutes. Those are all still in place. SIPS Plus has not updated anything in regards to that. So if you can see here, when I went ahead and put this COLA number in, it did pre-populate some of these fields for me. It let me know what the brand name was. And if you scroll down, it's going to tell you exactly what came back from the TTB. This is really, really great from an internal standpoint because right now we are doing some checks manually for this. So this integration with the TTB, um, it does allow us to make sure that those are active, that there's nothing going on the other side of the world with TTB when our users are entering those fields. That and then I feel like all of these the rest of these fields are pretty standard for you guys. Liquor type, the proof, anything that has a red asterisk next to it is something that is a required field. So you are going to want to go ahead and make sure that you're, just filling in the fields that have the red asterisk. The effective date is always going to populate for you to the next available effective date. So when you're looking, it is a required field. Once a deadline date passes, you will see this effective date automatically move to the next effective date for our users. So that's not something that you're going to have to manually enter. But it is something that, you keep your eye out on it because I know everybody does like to know what that effective date is that their product is going to be registered for. The next section that we have down here is the price information. This is where you guys are going to enter a case cost in. It's going to give you the base price and the shelf price that is calculated based on the case cost and case size that you've indicated on your regular product. And then in this part, for a regular spirit product, it's not always necessary to add a comment, but you can if you want to. If there's something that you want staff to know, you can go ahead and enter that in there. Once you're finished, you go ahead and hit submit for approval. It's letting me know that a brand name with the same bottle size and bottle type is already being used. So anytime that you already have a cola registered, with another bottle size, it's going to let you know that you have that registered. So for this particular product, I'm registering a 50 ml, but this licensee already has a 750 ml of the same thing registered. So it's not going to stop you from doing anything, but it is going to let you know that you do have other products out there with that same cola. We're going to go ahead and attest that the information that you entered is accurate and select OK. And at this point, it's going to let you know that your new product has successfully been submitted to the MLCC for review. So at this point, if you want to see the items that you have submitted, so if you want to go back out there and, and look to see, okay, what have I submitted to the MLCC so far? You can go back to your products tab and use the submitted list view. And it's going to let you know what you have out there that liquor control is taking a look at this point. Go back out. Any questions on the registration of just a regular spirit product? Alrighty, Joel. You might have to
Okay,
unmute.
sorry,
There
I
we
didn't
go.
know if I needed to unmute myself or not. So are you using that brand name is new for you, right? Is that new, something that's new for you, or in terms of, you mentioned that you were using the information from the TTB
Right.
for
So
that brand name field?
when you enter the cola in, it populates the brand name from the TTB. So whatever you guys submitted through the TTB as your registered brand name, it will pre-fill on that product for you. Let me pop back out here into a product.
And previously, if you can refresh my memory, an E-quote, is that something we type in ourselves, or is that a brand new field?
The brand name field here, this is going to populate with what the TTB has, but this is an editable field, so if you have, say like, you've registered with the TTB, like test tequila, but you want to put like your 10-year on your brand name here so that it appears on the price book as your 10-year, you could update this. It would say test tequila, because that's what came back from the TTB. And you could add your 10-year onto the brand name. So this is a field that we do make editable for our licensees.
Okay.
So that way if you need to add something, but
because
on
some
our
of these
side
colas
of
are,
things,
this point from myself are probably, 12, 13 years old. And, the brand name that, I mean, back 12, 13 years ago, these fields, even with the TDP, were just kind of fields that you could probably put whatever you wanted to in there. And
Yep.
they might
And we
not
do
be what you want to
recognize
show
that.
up anymore.
Yes. And we do like, so for us on the backside, we do populate this for you to see because we want you to know what the TTV sent back to us. The feedback that we got when we were developing the system was that same type of feedback. It was like, hey, sometimes there's character limitations at some point years ago, or it's a very, very broad brand name. And so we don't always want to register that, or we're going to end up with a price book that just says, test product, test product, test product. It's all the same.
Right.
And it doesn't indicate to the user what that is. So we do give you the brand name from the TTB here because we want you to be able to see that. But the brand name field here is always going to pre-populate with that. And you do have the option of editing that to make it a little bit more personalized.
Okay. So
obviously it's going to go through review.
As long as we can edit it, then I'm good with that. So.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Great question. Great question.
Hey, Erica, we have a question in the chat. Will the pending products be in view even after they are reviewed? Right now, once they're reviewed, products are removed from pending and we can't see what was submitted. And then the second question to that was, will we still be able to pull vendor reports?
So yes, yep. Your products here. So what I was showing you guys previously, this is all of your products. So it's always going to default to what you viewed recently. So new products typically do show up here because, when you created it, just navigates you organically to that page. In this list view, though, we have several different options, so if you want to see just the active products that you have, you can sort them with the inactive status. If you want to see items that are delisted, you can just pick delisted. If you want to see your value adds, like what do I have out there in VAPs, you can go ahead and sort a lot of different ways. So you're talking about, those pending items, those would be considered submitted items. And so once it's submitted to the MLCC, you actually can just pull up your submitted link. And these are all of the items that are in a submitted status, waiting for MLCC to make a decision. The other thing that I wanted to point out was we do have a filter for rejected items. So if you get an email notification back that something has been rejected, you can just come out here and sort your products by anything that is rejected, and you can access your product this way. And we'll cover this a little bit more later, and after we go through each one of the registrations. I wanted to come back and show you guys how to manage, something that had been rejected. So does that answer the question? Maybe raise a hand or give it a smiley face or something if that answers the question sufficiently. Awesome. Okay. Good questions, you guys. I love it. All right, I'm going to go back to the license again, and we're going to go ahead and walk through how we're going to register a value add product. So this is going to look a little bit different for you guys. Rather than entering in, all of the additional information, we have the option for you guys to select your base product here. So it's going to give you a list of your registered products. And you are able to select, which item is going to be your base product. So this is the main item in that value add. It's the item where you're going to add either a spirit, or you're going to add a glass or a t-shirt. And then you're going to indicate to us, is your VAP a registered spirit? So are you adding in, a 50 ml that is registered with us? If you are, it's going to go ahead and give you a drop down of what you have registered so that you can just select what you're putting in here as well. If it's not, you go ahead and select no. It's going to have you fill in, sorry, a little bit of a delay going on here. It's going to have you fill in the VAP description field. So one really amazing upgrade that we have here is that we don't have, a character limitation that is, I don't recall what it is now, but I do believe it's maybe 15 or 20 characters, so you can actually type out 2 glasses. And this is going to go ahead and amend your brand name to include this automatically. So I'm going to move forward, with this base product. I'm going to say my VAP Spirit product is a no. This is a test environment, so I am not sure why it's asking us to complete the field. I can see that it did go ahead and remove this from a required field, but I wouldn't actually expect to see that. That's something new for today. So probably perks of a test environment. When you come down to the bottom portion, it's going to automatically default you based on size to the normal case size. So if you want to change, that case size, you would just need to go ahead and, and pick, something, to change that. You can go ahead and change that if you want to like say 10. Same options for MDARD, same options, that you have out here for, weight and all of that, but it is going to go ahead and pre-fill some of the proof and things in there for you based on the base product that you have entered. So we're going to go ahead and just fill in the rest of this. Effective date again, it goes ahead and it just pre-populates. We're always going to show you what we got back from the TTB. Then we're going to go ahead and put our case price in. And then a lot of times here, we just see folks put in there the 2 glasses, as their add-on. So we'll just stay consistent with that. Again, just a warning, letting us know we do have other products that are registered in that same COLA, and that is okay because we do know that, we use the same COLA for, different bottle sizes and different VABs. So now we have created our VAP. What you will notice is the brand name for this will automatically pull in whatever you have put in for your value added product. Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, we have a question in the chat. Will there ever be a way to set a shelf price and it calculates the case price backwards?
No, we don't have that in the system now. Sam, can you make a note to for that to see if that's possibly something? I know I knew you probably had already wrote it down. I do know that finance out there now has the shelf price calculator, and I know it's not like a reverse calculator, but for me, when I'm trying to go in and kind of calculate those things out, it does allow me to put the pricing in. It's in an Excel format. So are you familiar with, I feel like this is Joel. Joel, are you familiar with that that price matrix that's out there now? I mean, and I would say probably temporarily, if you're trying to calculate, like I said, I know it's kind of tedious, but that's where I go, if somebody's asking me, to quickly, look at something, then that's where I go and I type in the cost that that is given in the case size, and I look at the shelf price and stuff. And, but I think, yeah, we can look at post go live, possibly trying to see if there's a way to integrate like a reverse calculator. I mean, it's math, so I feel like it's something that we could do, but it's not something that is out there right now. That's a great idea.
Great suggestion. Yeah, great suggestion.
Yeah, absolutely. I like it because a lot of the feedback we get is, that a lot of the marketing and stuff is based on, the shelf price being at a certain point. So if you wanted to, make sure that you were coming out at like $9.99, that would be a really good tool for that. All right. All right. So as far as the value added product, again, brand name is always going to pull in the brand name of your base product. It's automatically going to amend that with like the with sign, and then it's going to enter either your VAP description, or it's going to put in there what 50 ml you have. So if you chose a spirit as your product, it is going to drop that product description out in there too. So it'll say with 50 ml of, this would probably be like, test tequila blanco or something. From your product page, it's going to tell you all of the information that you submitted, your effective date, and it also gives you a link back to that base product and things like that too, and just tells you this is what you entered as far as the VAP description is concerned, pricing information and items we got back from TTB. If I go out to our products and look at the submitted items, I will see that this item is now out there as well. Any other questions on the VAPs and how the VAPs are being registered? Very good, very good. You guys are an easy crowd today. Easy crowd. So as we're moving on, I mean, so from a feedback perspective, what are you guys thinking so far? I mean, do you feel like the ease of the system and the flow is, is pretty consistent with, what you expected? If anybody has any commentary, throw it in the chat for us. Or if you want to speak up, feel free. I feel like I did just, call you guys out. So good deals. Look at like
We got some clapping
thumbs
hands.
up, right? I need to get some like
right.
AI thumbs up, right? Like how do we structure our AI note takers, to like clap and stuff when the person presenting says, let's get some thumbs up.
That's so good.
Alrighty, we'll go ahead then and move into our new product for a multi-pack. So this is going to be a little bit different as well. We are using that same concept where if you've got a base product that is registered with us, we are going and having you select whatever product it is that you are using for your multi-pack. You're going to put how much is going to be in that pack. You are able to also enter other products as well. And it will populate those fields. I feel like there's a pricing thing that I may end up in here. So, I mean, and if you've got a third product, the system allows you to get in and add, any of these as much as you want to. It is only going to require you to put one in, but that is how you would add another base product there. Once you add the base products that you have, you would just go ahead and hit save. And the reason that you're hitting save is because there's some calculating and stuff happening, behind the scenes for us, just to make sure that, we know, what the shelf price summation is of those three items, because we want to make sure that the shelf price of your multi-pack is going to, match what we expect it to. So if you're scrolling down, you are going to see that a lot of things are taking place. We do have a multi-pack indicator that's been selected. The system is automatically going to tell us that this is not a standard case size because we have a multi-pack. You do still have the option of specifying a retailer label if you want to. It's going to want to know how many packs are we putting in each case that we are selling. It does some automatic calculations for us as far as bottles per case. It gives us I'm just going to change that to test. And then again, we're going to go ahead and enter our weight information, our case and case tiers, because that makes our ADA partners very happy. And then we're going to go ahead and put a cost in. If we were to put in a low cost here, let's put in and we tried to submit this, it's going to let us know. There is a validation out here that our shelf price cannot be less than the combined shelf price of what we have in that multi-pack. So you won't be able to submit this unless your pricing is consistent with what we expect it to be. And same old attestation, that everything is accurate to the knowledge that we have. And then our happy, happy success message that we have been successfully submitted to MLCC for review. Alrighty. And any questions so far on multi-bags? All right, go ahead, Joel.
Similarly to my last question, with the multi case prices, I mean, if the system already knows what the price should be, why doesn't that just be populated automatically?
So for the multi-pack, you are able to charge more for your multi-pack than what that base summation price is. For the variety case, it actually does the calculation for you. So for the variety case, there is a pricing stipulation out there that is part of just the current, the current pricing statute that is there. It does do that calculation for you. But for this one, it actually just gives you the summation at the top, and it just tells you like,
Oh,
your base price
maybe I
needs
just
to be
didn't see
at
that.
least this much. Yeah, and I can go
Okay,
back in here
I
too.
probably missed that.
No, let's take a peek at it. Probably should have stayed on there so you could see. All right, so if we say, we're going to go ahead and do like 6. When we hit save here, it does all kinds of fun things. And then right underneath your base products that you've selected, it gives you this base product shelf price summation. And so this is just basically saying, if we take that shelf price times 6, you need to be at least at this price point when you are calculating your prices down here. And if you're not and you hit submit, it'll give you that little red box that says, we can't let you submit this product because that pricing is off. So if that pricing does happen to be off and you need to reference it, if you just scroll up right underneath the base prices, it does that summation for our users so that you know what price point you need to be at.
Okay, that makes sense.
Awesome. Good questions. Little do you know, you're going to become the SME here, Joel. We're going to be calling you and asking you questions. All right.
I'm just happy not to have to use eQuote anymore.
I know, I'm excited. Like it is exciting. I am hope you guys love, the product as much as we do. It's been fun. This has been a really fun thing to take on and manage. All right, so the last type of product that we have out here on the spirit side is our variety case. And so for the variety case is going to function very similar. We have a drop down that is going to just give you registered products that are available. These are going to be your smaller bottles. So the most common, like variety cases and things like that, those are like your 15 packs, so we'll go ahead and like throw 15. I throw 15 in there because for some reason I stopped using 10 and 20 because I used them all the time. And I feel like those are way more common. All right, so my message, our base products have been saved. So same options that we have here. It's going to go ahead and automatically mark that we have a non-standard case size because we are registering a variety case. You still have the same options, for your MDARD, your COLA. We're going to change this to test. And then you're going to want to fill in the information that you have, for your weight, case size, what we've got per tier, your GTIN if you've got it. And so this, Joel, is, where you had mentioned the last time, why aren't we just doing that? We are doing that here. So we are automatically filling this price in because, it does need to match, what it would be if you were selling these products individually. So you'll still want to review that, but you just, you don't have to do any calculations or anything. And then because it's a variety case, you'll want to go ahead and throw your comment in. It's good. And there we go. So you'll notice on your variety case up here, your brand name final is going to tell you, that this is a test tequila variety pack and that it is 15 of the tester 2 tequilas. If you had more than one item in there, it would actually list that out for you. So when this goes out to the price book, it actually will go out with that information as well. And then for your multi-packs, if you had to, it would actually tell you, it is this and this. And just because the question was asked, we'll go back out to our submitted items. And all of our items are out here. Let's move that over there. So this is our multi-pack, so I was telling you that the brand name, that pops out actually tells you, this is Test Tequila 3-pack and it is 3 of these. You know, and if it were something else out there, then it would say like one of these and one of these. You know, so it's very clear to our users, you know, what is out there. All right. So from the actual product registration itself, did you guys have any questions on, I do want to move into, really quick, just, you know, where you guys can see the rejected items and kind of how you want to manage that. All right, let me navigate there. All right, so as we discussed very briefly at the beginning of the meeting, if you've used the list view here and move this to a rejected state, it's going to pull this up for you.
Oh, Eric, I think you got muted.
Oh, sorry. So from the drop down, if you select rejected, it is going to give you a list of anything that was rejected, you know, by the MLCC. So what you want to do at that point is just go ahead and click into your product. If you go scroll to the bottom, it will let you know. You are in a rejected status here. So you would want to hit edit. Alrighty. And when you hit edit, you actually will have on the bottom a, you know, rejection comment. And it's just going to let you know, that why they rejected it. So if this is something where, you know, you just needed to update, you know, a brand name or something, and, you know, you would just go ahead and make the updates to the fields. If it's a pricing change, if it's a bottle size change, you can go ahead and make those edits here, you know, and submit for approval. I am going to cancel out there. If it is something like I did save it in a rejected status, if it is something where you need to add a label, you would actually need to go out to add document. So for that particular rejection, let me go back out here so you can see this. On the bottom here, this rejection actually said, please add a new label. So from here, because I don't need to edit any of this information, I'm just going to go ahead and cancel out of here because I don't need to update the product information, but I do need to add a new document. So I'm just going to hit that. And I'm going to say, I need to put a label image out here. Next. It does give you a little blurb on the different types of formats, you know, so, you know, we can do HTML, PDF, you know, your docs, your words, you know, we tried to get pretty much anything, you know, that you could save something as, and pop it out there, you know, to make sure that our users weren't going to have issues, you know, so you can drag and drop a file, you can upload a file from, you know, your file explorer. Once it loads into the system, it's going to give you a check mark. You're just going to say, I'm done and hit save. Okay. And then you can go ahead and just hit submit for approval. And then it's just going to say, hey, is all of this stuff right? And you're going to say, yeah, that's good. And now it's submitted back to the MLCC. So if you have a rejected item, you know, you just need to go figure out what needs to be done. If it is an actual field within your product registration, you know, you'll edit the fields by hitting the edit button. If it is something that needs, you know, like a COLA document or a label image or something like that, you can go ahead and add your document here. Once you're done doing all of your edits, you can submit for approval here or on the edit screen. I think it's going to tell me I can't edit here. From the edit screen, you also have the option, you know, to submit from that page as well. Try to see if I have anything else that's rejected here. And then once that goes back to a submitted status, you would be right back over here, you know, where that question was asked, you know, where do I see the things that are submitted? It would be sent back in a submitted status so the MLCC could take another look at that. Any questions on how to resubmit something that was rejected? Okay. All righty. that is all I have got out here for our registration session today. So it does look like I am going to be giving some time back. Um, we did have a couple very, very good suggestions out here. So we'll go ahead and add to our post go live, whether we have the option to do that reverse calculator. And then Sam, did you have anything else that we had?
No, I think that we're all set. If no one has any questions, I think that we're good to go.
Okay. And Sam did post in the chat, I believe, the link out there to SIPS Plus. And I just like to keep pointing that out because after we do our training sessions, what we will do is, within the next couple hours, we will not only get this meeting recording set out there on the website, but we'll also go ahead and get that training material out there. So in addition to having a copy of the training today, you'll also have the training manuals available out there on that same SIPS Plus webpage. So, we keep sending folks back there because as we make updates and add things, any Q&As that we have, we're going to start getting all of that stuff added to that website. So it's just a one-stop shop for any information that you might need. And then once we have that email set up for the SIPS Plus team, we'll go ahead and send that out to the group as well. And it looks like we do have one question. Dylan, what's up?
I just said, are we able to view the website right now from our computers, or will that only be once it's fully launched?
The SIPS Plus site you can, but right now, no, we do not have external access out there, for the product registration system.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Right, great question. Okay. Unless there is anything else, I will go ahead and give everybody back a few minutes for their afternoon. Feel free to reach out to Sam or I if you have any other additional questions. Thank you, everybody.